So hi everybody and welcome back to C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 37 and in this video we are continuing with our solution, and we stopped here with the database and we created here our for loop and we created our if statements to compare two databases with equal, less and bigger. And we had here a problem. And I changed my description. The problem was we had only these two lines here, I think. And these two lines are not descriptive enough what we have to do. So what we have to do here is, first I want to compare the score each line. This one we have. So I will compare them here. These are the compare operations with our if statements. And save the scores in a new database. This one we have to solve in a moment. We have to create a new database where we solve the new values. If they are equal, I want to give them the same points in the new database. Yes, if they are equal, I will give them the same points. So that one we will have to write here in the body. Okay, that's perfect. But the problem is we have not defined what happens if they are not equal. And that's why we have not defined this one. I have added here this a little bit text too. It's not a perfect thing. Perhaps you don't understand it, but it means like this: if they are not equal, which means it can be less or bigger, then I want to write the points with the higher number, which means when I compare them, let's say at the start here, 43 was 42, the higher number would be 43 in the database of the player. So this one is the new database, which I created here in the player who got this number, which means 43, and the other player gets 0. So this one would be get 0 in the first round here at the first. And then I make this all time with the other two. Here he would get again 43, he gets 0, here he gets 0, and he gets 54, and I write this in the new database. So, and this kind of stuff what I did here, you see I changed code again, I changed description again, because we have adjust us to in the development, change something, add something, get rid of something, and yeah, our end goal is just to reach this one. The goal is print on screen the winner with his points compared to the other. And the best thing is there are different ways and different things. Just find one way that works for you. It must be not that what I have here, but yeah, that's it. Let's train this in this way. So let's get into it. First, let's try to solve the first line. It says here I want to compare each score lines that we have already here, and save the scores in a new database. So that we have not. Let's create a new database here where we can save the scores, which we are going to do here in next. So first of all, we need new database. Int. Okay, what we do here, player, let's call it player 1. I use the name here, like here, player, oh no, player name. This one is probably not a good name, but very connective name. Player name 1, database. So till now it's the same name here. Database, and I make here new, a word new, and then I write here square brackets, and this time I say with 10 elements, and we will assign these elements later. Player name 1, this is connected to this one, it is his database, but this one is the new one. So when I read this name here, I know this one is the new one, this one is his database, and the same I make for the second player too. Let's create this one, paste it, and here I change just here the second, so I know this one. So I created this new databases. Of course, you can name this databases perhaps better names. This name I just take it because when we watch it, they are all connected now. For example, player name 1, player name 1 database, and player name 1 database new. So I know they are all connected together, and they are not the same, but they are all connected. But this can be also irritating some point too, so perhaps you find even better names, but in my case it's good. And let's continue. So I created the database, I finished this line, I continue to the next one. If they are equal, I want to give them the same points in their new database. Here I changed a little bit my database to make a equal state. For example, I made here 37 and here 37, so I have one time they are indeed equal. And the reason why I did that is so we can use this here, which means player name one database I, which will be here 1 2 3 4 5 6. Is this right? No. An array start with 0 0 1 2 3 4 5. So this one will be slot 5. In slot 5, so E equal 5, will here 37 is equal to 37. And what should happen then? That's written here. If they are equal, I want to give them the same points in their new database, which means here at slot 7 they should both get 37 in their database. So how we do this? The question is now how we can do this. That's very important here. And we have to assign to this new database these values. And how we make this? Very easy. We just take the variable here. I copy this one. But careful, we have here the number 10 in it. And all time when you copy something, careful what you are copying. And we have to change this to 5 because it's slot 5 wrong, because I can't use that here with counting, because here I use this for loop, right? And this was just an example. I have to use this for loop counter because this, I know the for loop is starting with I, and if it's slot 5, this will found it automatically for me. That's why I use this I, and then I can use the assignment operator. And here, very important, can I write now 37 in? Also wrong, because here I know it's 37, but I have to use the variable name, right? Because the variable name will be used here. And how I'm doing this, let's train this also. We are writing player name. Important, we are here the database. I'm using this one here. I have now the variable name, but I have say also which slot it used, right? So let's make this try to. I say also I, and why I again? Because this one find the slot name here. This sounds a little bit very complicated explained and so, but actually it's very easy. Instead of using directly that what you can see here on top, I use just the variable names and they will come automatically to this point. And important is here, careful, that's why I said this naming is perhaps also not optimal. This one looks almost similar to this one. Only the difference is this is the new database and this one is the database. Perhaps I should write it here from start, new database just here instead of player name one database new. Should I change this fast? Yeah, I should change this fast, because this is more irritating than new database player one. So oops, and the same thing I make for the other one. Copy, and you see if you make something like that, perhaps it's really better to change your things, because this one is irritating, right? It was not good. And if it's not good, change it like I did now. But the problem is then you have to change it properly on all places too. Let me do this. But it happens. And now we have this one. New database player 2 and player name 1 database. Now it's a little bit better than before. I think it really is. All right. So we have covered the equal state, the problem here, the equal state, and I'm not finished actually. I have just covered it for the first player. Now I have to do this for the second player as well, and I can just copy this one because I'm lazy. It's not lazy, it's called reuse actually. I say all the time lazy, careful. It's called reuse, and that's very important in programming. And here you use here the second database because it's for the second database here. That's very important too. Make not here the mistake. That's why I say check all time after copying what you do, because it can happen. A lot of errors can happen when you reuse code if you not go through. But so far we can check if this works, right? We can check, but it will probably make an error right now because we have not covered the other things. But let's see what happens. I said all time check your code, but sometimes it's not a good idea. Here, no errors, but we have also no outprint, so we can't really check our code. So to check your code, you should write here also perhaps an outprint. So should we do this? Why not? And what we are doing is then we can print out this code here, but let's skip this because the video goes then too long. And yeah, if it's not working, we will use our debug in this case. Of course, you can write here to check this code here again, some lines and for printing out this database on the screen so you are sure that all values are working. But of course, we can use here the debug system as well. Let's go this time with the debug. And let's start it here. Oops, not here. Let's start it here and then check with debug. So I start this again because learning debug is also very important. Coder, Superman. And now it stopped. Careful, this means it is jumped here to the system. We have to go down. And now we can see here interesting something. That's very interesting. And let me make this a little bit bigger. And what you can see here down, it says here at this point, new database player 2, which is this one. And then you see here strange numbers, right? And this are the database values. And I said you, if you are not initializing at start values for variables, that's not only for this one, also for normal variables for an int variable, like this one. If you make not a default value, like here, something like that, then the compiler will put in random numbers which are going you can see here some random numbers in it. But I'm curious if this is not a little bit too big for an int. I'm not sure. They should be only about 2 billions, and so this looks a little bit bigger than 2 billions, but yeah, not sure. Normally it's no, I'm not. Anyway, important note is there are random numbers in it. Normally, as long as you overwrite them, it will not cause problems. But if you are not overwriting them and they are used later in your code, they can cause problems. That's why they say all time set up default numbers normally. But in this case, I skipped this process, but I hope you should take this in consideration. Let's step over. Let's see what we did so far. So I go 1. And now in the next step, this random numbers for new database player 1, new database. This one are our database values here, by the way, on top. And here I is 0. All right, so far all fine. Let's go on. Let's see what we have. Here we jumped out and we jumped on top again, and yeah, that will go on so far. Let's go to the point where it says equal. And here, player name database I, it's here. Let's see. So let's work this way. I is the round in which we are. Now we are in 3. And I is used in the player database I, which is free inserted, and free at this point is 13 and free is at this point 12. Let's check this manually. Let's check this manually. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have 13 here. That's true. And here too, 0, 1, 2, 3. I have 3, 12, and you can see it's true. And you see this one with debug, if you get too used to that one, it will be really make your life easy. Let's go on. So far it's all fine, right? And we start over again, bang. And we are now on the 4th round. I is now 4. And we have on 4, 79, 80, good. And we go one more. Now we are 5. And interesting is here, 5. Why is this interesting? Now we have the same values. Here, 37. Oh, why I make this not a little bit bigger for you? So, now we have the same values here. We have here 37, 37. And now this one will jump in this if statement. Let's see if this is jumping there. Yes, it is in my if statement now. And interesting is again this values with the new database, they have still the random numbers in it because they are not initialized with anything. And careful, this is all time the line start, not the line end, which means this one is not evaluated at this point, only when I go to the next step. And this one we see it right now. And new database player 1, we check here where is this new database player 1 and what we have there. We can see what where is the, let's see, new database player 1. We have to find your new database player 1 now here, and we see at this line, at this line we have something like a 37 included here. No, we have not. This is not. We have. This is not. Where I am. Let me go one more step. Let's see if we see this. No. Actually, it was not right. I saw it anyhow wrong. And right now my eyes are again. Anyway, we will see it later, or let me start this one more time. Not that I skipped it, but this time I go a little bit faster over it. Okay, it's here. I have to start this one, coder, and let's Superman, and let me show you this one more time because there was one step a little bit strange. Okay, we are 0, then it jumps here, then we are 1, 2, 3, 4. And now 5 is important for us because we are jumping, no, 4, we are still on 4. 5 is now important for us, we are jumping in. And now we are here at the start. New database player 1 is 5 here. Right now it's nothing. And player name database, I have 37, let's see. And when I go on, now we have read this one more time. New player 1. New database player 1. Important is here. This one, what you see here on top, is the new database player 1 initialized. And we see, when I skip this a little bit up, yeah, now I see why we could not see it. Sorry for that. We have to open this one to see it. Yeah, and you see it at slot 5. We have indeed initialized here our value 37. Okay, that was the mistake which I made before. I have not opened this up to see actually what we have here. And here you see again this random generated values, which is not good in general, because if they are not overwritten, like I said before, they can cause in later programs strange behaviors. And normally you should initialize this one with default values. But in general, they would not harm much too, because Yeah, depends on the situation. Sometimes they can harm really hard, and sometimes not at all, because in general they are just numbers like this one, int numbers, but with can cause us strange behavior, what you not expect later. For example, the worst case what happens is that they create a number, because these numbers what you see which are created are random numbers. If they are random bad numbers like this one, you will see the error later very fast, because -8 whatever this number is will not happen in your program. But these numbers are random numbers, right? What happens if this random number, let's say, is created similar to your number which you expect in your program? And this kind of stuff can irritate you so hard later that you think that your program structure has a problem and not the array or something like, which was initialized with random numbers. And this kind of errors happen sometimes too. I think it happens to me one time too. And I had a hard time I repeated my code over and over again till I found it was just a random number which was similar to my expected number. But I hope this will not happen to you, because this can cause really hard headaches. Anyway, let's continue. I stop here because now I wasted a lot of time with a little bit debugging again, but train this debug here also. This is a very powerful tool later. And you can see here all the steps, what we do here in a moment again, if I continue, how they are inserting it, and are the numbers what they inserting are the expected numbers. In the next video, we will do this again, but first we finish this, what we have here. So see you there, bye.